Good morning and welcome to UW Milwaukee Panther Arena, the site of the first practice of the Admirals training camp for the 2018-2019 season. It is the first training camp run by new head coach Carl Taylor. Taylor had been an assistant with the Texas Stars the last several years, but his first job as a head coach in the American Hockey League. He has been a head coach in the ECHL prior, several years ago with both Reading and Ontario. A new assistant coach as well, and Greg Rollo. Scott Ford, a holdover, longtime Admirals defenseman, and has been an assistant coach the last few seasons. He stays, so their coaching staff is Taylor, Rollo, and Ford. The Admirals have 28 players on the roster currently. There are still a few players up in Nashville taking part in the NHL training camp. The Admirals' parent club is the Nashville Predators, but 28 players here, including 3 goaltenders, Troy Grosnick, Miroslav Svoboda, and Tom McCollum. As you look out there, as you watch practice, we'll explain who some of these players are. We'll give you some highlights, and we'll tell you a little bit of what to expect. Plus, we'll get some interviews here and there. But again, we'll let you watch. This is the first practice for the Milwaukee Admirals in the 2018 training camp here at UW Milwaukee Panther Arena.
Well, good, there was like a slideshow going on.
What did you say?
He asks the question and he changes the word by like one word to ask it again. And he changes another word to ask it again.
Alright, if you want to run off for a little bit, Jamie. So, what did you have planned here for interviews? Did you want to do 3 you said? Okay, so I was thinking Donovan, Carl, and Kirkland. You'll bring them here.
No, we'll go down.
Well,
Yeah, we'll go down there. Just get him over and backdrop and guys. Scooter something.
Once again, you're watching the first practice of the 2018-2019 Milwaukee Admirals training camp from the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena. We'll try to sort out some lines for you here. That was Tyler Moy, if you're looking to the left of the camera, shooting and scoring. We'll try to give you some line combinations as we can see them. The one you just saw, the white jerseys, Emil Pettersson has Jeremy Gregoire, and don't hold me to these pronunciations just yet. We'll get a firmer grasp of the pronunciations after practice. The Admirals have 3 goaltenders in camp. Troy Grosnick, of course, from Brookfield, who spent the last couple of months with the Admirals last year after being acquired from the San Jose Sharks. Tom McCollum, who is a former first-round draft choice of the Detroit Red Wings and has spent the majority of his career in goal for the Grand Rapids Griffins. And Miroslav Svoboda from the Czech Republic, who played for Pilsen, which is the same team that former Admirals goaltender Marek Mazinets once played for. Last year with Pilsen, Svoboda had a 2.1 goals against average and a save percentage at .926 with a 33-14 record. The defensive pair you out there right now, the right-handed shot is Frederick Allard, who really came on strong toward the end of last season, his first year as a professional hockey player. In 55 games played. Controlling the puck now and passing there to the left wing. That was Filip Pyrakta, and again we'll figure out the pronunciations, but Filip Pyrakta from the Czech Republic, 22 years old, who has really made a name for himself. Admirals general manager Scott Nickel said that he has shown very good ability to skate himself out of trouble, to make good passes. He skates extremely well. He's wearing number 78 for the Admirals. Another number in the 70s, actually 57, is Jonas Luuttinen. He was 75 last season, but 57 this season on the roster. Luuttinen, a left-handed shot, expected to play big minutes for the Admirals again this season. We will visit with General Manager Scott Nickel a little bit later on during this webcast of the Admirals' first practice. Players out there now, the right-handed shot in front of the goal in the blue jersey is Brandon Truk, who is on an ECHL deal with Atlanta. Truk has played in the past in the American Hockey League with the Texas Stars and the Hartford Wolfpack. This is Luuttinen on the right shooting. Tom McCollum is the goaltender with the red mask right now. Carl Taylor wearing the hat. He's the head coach in the middle. He's near center ice, now to the middle of the blue line. Carl Taylor, his first year as a head coach for the Admirals. Greg Rollo is the other coach wearing a hat, also on the ice. Assistant coach Scott Ford and goaltending coach Dave Rook. Now doing these drills here. We'll come back with a little bit more later on.
It's exciting. Seeing all the boys out there. Not one. I just played out there last night. You sure? Cool. Actually, how's the flexibility? Just so you spit my gum out. You can just stand next to Aaron. Just Charles.
Good, how are you? Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. Nice to meet you, too.
Right here?
There's a break room.
Okay, can you, they just need to be back up in that shelf.
Okay. You want to from chronological?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's on. Should be on. All right, back at UW Milwaukee Panther Arena, the Admirals' first practice of the 2018 training camp, joined by Admirals General Manager Scott Nickel, new to the position. There's a lot of new going on this year. It's pretty exciting. New coaches, new general manager, a lot of new faces in Milwaukee this season.
Yeah, it was a busy summer. Change sometime is good, and we got, like you said, we got new coaches. We moved Scott Ford back on defense. He's going to run our defense, and then Greg Rallo came in with Carl, and he just retired this year, so he's going to be a really good extension to the arm of the coach and relate real well with the players since he was just a player last year. He's a really big pickup for us, so I'm excited about our staff. I'm really excited about our team. We're probably going to have 14, 15 new players this year, and it's competition. And
competition, and there are guys, I mean, people look on paper and they see the Nashville Predators are one of the favorites to win the Stanley Cup. There's not many jobs to be had. That being said, there are guys up there right now competing that you expect to be here, I would think, but Nashville's always been open to giving jobs or having guys earn those jobs away from somebody.
Well, I think that's our, we take pride in that. We're not just, even the guys here, whoever's playing well and at the time and have played really well all year, they're going to get called up. It doesn't matter if you're a free agent or a walk-on or a draft pick. We take pride in taking the best players who can fill that role. So that's what I said today in our meeting. You want to be the best player here. Don't look at the NHL right now. Look to be the best player for the Milwaukee Admirals and do well. And you're going to get called. So that's our message.
This offseason, right away, very aggressive in signing players. Probably more aggressive than this franchise has ever been to get players and build the depth of not only Milwaukee but the Nashville organization.
Well, I think now it kind of goes hand in hand. Nashville's been very good, and they've had some trades, and we traded a lot of our prospects, our first-round picks, and to be in our mix now is exciting because, like we just talked about, is they can get called up, doesn't matter who you are. And so we targeted guys really early who would fit our mold and how we want to play. We want to play fast and gritty and play on the inside, and we might not be the biggest team, but we're going to play with a lot of pace, and it's going to be fast and entertaining hockey.
That's what I wanted to say. What is the team's identity? Do you work with Carl and say, this is what I want, or does Carl Taylor say, this is what I want, or hey, this is the personnel we have, this is what we're going to do? How do you work on an identity?
Well, we had our interview process with Carl and a few other guys, and kind of what his motto and how he wanted to coach and how he wanted to play. It's just kind of the new NHL.
Sure.
Activate the D. There's no more D that are just shot blockers, stay at home.
Right.
Our D are going to jump into the fourth hole, and they want to be, and it's going to be fast and up and down the ice. I mean, I'm really excited about our tandem, our goalie tandem. We haven't had a tandem like this in a long time. So both guys are going to push each other, and with our D could be one of the top in the AHL too. We got some good veteran guys who can move the puck and jump into the play, and then you forget you still have the Carriers and the Lards and the Dohertys and Lutonens who aren't first-year guys anymore. Right. They're second and third-year players, so there's not a lot of learning curve there. They know the league, so it's a really good mix. And what I want us to go far. I want us to go far in the playoffs. I want to win some playoff rounds because National's going to be in the playoffs now for a long time. So it's really hard for these guys to just snap their fingers and think they can play in the playoffs. So we want to learn how to play down here and win some and go far and rock this building and get some fans in here.
You mentioned the guys like Doherty and Carrier and Allard, Anthony Richard, Justin Kirkland. This is age-wise, birth certificate-wise, a young team, but at the same time, there's a lot of experience. I mean, we're talking 150, 200 games in some cases experience for these guys out there.
And they're going to get pushed. They're not a solid lock. Nobody's a lock to make this team. So that's what I like, is they probably are sitting in the summer saying, oh, they're signing this guy, this guy, this guy. And they all had really good camps in Nashville, and that was part of it. I called everyone in the summer and said it's a great opportunity, it's a clean slate, but you have to have an identity. And they all had a really good camp, and they all got exhibition games, and now they're here. Now it's the next step.
Yeah, and that's an important thing. You mentioned clean slate. You got a new coach who doesn't necessarily know the ins and outs of the players and the organization. An assistant coach, the same thing. It's fresh for these guys. Yourself, you're looking at them through a different angle than you did as a director of player development. It's a good chance for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, and we want, like, if you look at our backgrounds, our whole coaching staff, myself, Wade Redden, like, we've been there. We've played in the minors a long time, and we know what it takes to get out of the minors and advance your career, and if not, be a great minor league player and live in the city and be a fabric of the community. And that's what we have young families, we have young fathers and young husbands, and those are my long friends.
Real quick, give a couple of names that people watching this may not know, but you really like, or they've come from out of nowhere basically to surprise you a little bit. You thought you had something, but maybe there's a little more than what you thought.
Well, I think you have your players from last year, but I think your Jared Tenortis, I think you'll look at him and his imposing size. He's 6'6" on the back end, and we haven't had a player like that probably since Adam Party. And if you look back, and when Carrier had a really good year, it was with Adam Party. So you take a little bit of that heaviness away from Alex and you put it onto Jared, and I think Alex will grow that way. And in our forward size, we got Jeremy Gregoire. We signed an American League contract. He's just going to be a nuts and bolts, straight line, stick up for your teammates, and we're looking for Pedersen to make the next step, and he knows the league a little bit more now, so hopefully he can create a little bit more offense. But it's going to be an exciting group. I'm really excited to get things going. The first exhibition game when we play on Saturday, and we'll be ready to go.
I want to touch on one more guy. You talked about some veterans coming in that know the league. Matt Donovan's an all-star in this league. He's played 70 games in the National Hockey League. Last 2 years in Sweden, which we all know the reputation is you have to be able to skate if you're going to play in Sweden. So that's an addition, 28-year-old guy to the blue line this year.
And he fits exactly how we play, how Nashville plays, and you can just hear him out here, very vocal, talks to the guys, wants the puck, jumps into the play, and that was a huge signing for us, and we got him on an American League deal, and if he does well, you just never know, and it just goes on and on. I think I stared at our board all summer long, and it's finally here, so it's good to get going, good to get some hockey back in Milwaukee, and get the ice going, and it's fun.
When you stare at that board, it's a puzzle, isn't it? Like, okay, I'm going to put this piece with this piece, that's what you do?
Until you see him on the ice, and you're like, well, okay, maybe that doesn't fit. I think hopefully, Yakov Trenin will have a really good year. We moved him from center to the wing just to play in a little bit more straight line, get him up in the lineup a little bit more, and he's had a really good camp this year. And he had a good camp his first year. He got banged up a little bit, broke his leg in the summer, and then he broke his collarbone last year. So we're looking for big things for him. So everybody, you can go on and on. Everybody has a really good story. They have something to prove, and that's why they're in the American Hockey League.
Excellent. Scott, thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Aaron.
General Manager Scott Nickel will get you back to practice.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do it all, eh, Charlie? Yeah, sometimes. Thank you. Perfect.
The lenses are covered. You gotta redo it. But Charlie, you want me to put those away for you? Hey Aaron, how are you? Delightful. You are indeed. camera. Hey, Charlie. Is that right? Strike from the hole over here. Anyway, I'm looking. Coach was asking for a whole bunch of stuff I don't know what he can do. Really, I think through and he was asking for penalty minutes.
Some of the line combinations, D pairings, if you were joined us, if you were listening about 5 minutes ago, you heard General Manager Scott Nickel talking about the D pairings, and he talked about Alex Carrier and Jared Tenorti working together. Well, that is indeed the case here on the first day of practice. Also, Matt Donovan is being paired up with Frederick Allard. You have Philip Pyrocta being paired up with Jack Doherty, and then the last pairing is Jack Stander paired up with Jonas Luutinen. Those are your defensive pairings. In the gray jerseys here today, the line is on the left wing. You have Alex Overhart, you have Justin Kirkland at center, and you have on the right wing Mathieu Olivier. Olivier with 27 goals last year in the Quebec Major League, while Alex Overhart played in the Western Hockey League with Portland, 15 goals, 40 points in 70 games with the WHL Portland Winterhawks. Also as a line, you have Matt Lane with Zach Magwood and Carl Persson. Persson had 13 goals, played in the Swedish League last year. Played in Sweden last year from Kristianstad, Sweden. Zach Magwood played for Barrie in the Ontario League, had 59 points in 65 games. And Matt Lane from Rochester, New York, had 25 points in 59 games with Worcester of the ECHL. We'll get the rest of the lines here for you in just a moment.
Aaron, you want to set up right here?
Just run. Okay. Welcome back, Panther Arena. It's the first practice of the Admirals 2018 training camp. The Admirals taking a break now. They'll resurface the ice and come back out for part 2 of this first day. And joined now by the president of the Milwaukee Admirals, John Greenberg. The ice is holding up. Everything looks good here. Everything's going. Everything's going. This is what we want.
Yeah, absolutely. Ice got built last week, and last night we had a couple of groups come out here and beat it up for us a little bit so that we can have to resurface it a few more times and get it ready for the pros to get out there. So I want to thank the UWM hockey team who came out, the club hockey team, and then we had some guys from the fire department, I think. Fire police guys came out and played for a while, and so they were the first ones to break it in, and now our guys are out there doing their work.
It's a nice luxury to have training camp in the building that you're playing in. That doesn't happen all that. I don't think that's ever happened for the Milwaukee Admirals.
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously when you're in the Bradley Center, that was nearly impossible to do with all the events that were going on there. And you know, this year we're fortunate enough, just because of the scheduling in the building, that we were able to get the ice built early and get these guys out here, be able to practice in their own building. Like you said, it really is kind of a luxury to be able to do that. But you know, I think it's great for these guys to get used to their surroundings, especially the guys that are new here, and not to mention the coach.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
To be able to kind of get used to being in his own building and see how it works.
Scott Nickel, we were talking to him earlier. He said there might be 15 new guys here, plus you have 2 coaches who are new. What does that mean to you, to have that many new people, new faces in the organization coming to Milwaukee?
Well,
what does that mean to the fans?
I'm going to probably need to get a program.
Right. There you go.
It's just not abnormal.
No.
Really. I mean, you do have turnover at this level.
Yeah, yeah. It is a little higher than normal.
A little higher than normal. But I'm excited by the guys that are coming in this year that have been in the league for a little bit.
Yeah.
But still, you know, have that carrot in front of them of getting themselves to the NHL. And I think a lot of our guys that are back, that are veteran guys that have been here before, are going from year 2 to year 3, which is a huge year for them.
Yep.
So I think you put all the pieces together in what type of team we're going to have here. You know, listening to Carl talk about wanting to play more offense and try to put the puck in the net more, it just tells me that this is going to be a really fun and exciting team to be able to watch, and getting to meet people and learn how they play and who they are. I think is going to be a lot of fun
when
for all of us.
When you get those players, and you mentioned a few of them have been here, well, I think a lot of the returners are in their 3rd year here in Milwaukee, or at least a part of their 3rd year here in Milwaukee. Then you add players who have been around a little bit, a Connor Brickley, a Matt Donovan, Tom McCollum. Community-wise, that helps the initiative, that helps the cause here to get out in the city and do what they need to do. They know what they're doing.
Absolutely, and veteran guys, you know, pretty much to a man that we've talked to during this off season have talked about wanting to be involved. And you know, this isn't a knock against any guys that have been here in the past, but that to have so many of them reach out and do that is, I think, a great thing, because it's also a great example for the younger players.
Exactly.
To be able to see how this all works and why it's important. And it's important not only for us as the Admirals, but it's important for them in their own development, because when they do make it to the NHL, they're going to have a lot of experience of going out and being in the community and meeting people. And you know, maybe it's somebody who isn't going to be able to help them today, but 10 years down the road,
Right.
they may have been able to help them out.
Right.
So there's a lot of good reasons for these guys to be able to get involved, and it sounds like it's going to be a great group.
Well, and with along those lines, I mean, Scott Nichols saying too that he was looking for, he was recruiting, coveting young families, young people who would have some roots here. That's what he came from in Rochester, New York. Obviously, several years ago when this was an unaffiliated organization, there are so many guys that have stuck around over the years staying in Milwaukee, so it's nice to have that group here.
No question, and you know, one of the messages that we always give our players in that first meeting that we have every year is we want this, if you're not playing in the NHL, we want this to be the best place you will ever play in your career. And this is a great community. There's a lot going on in Milwaukee that these guys will have access to. Milwaukee, and you know, that, I think it also makes it a lot easier for them to give back that way if they
Right,
feel comfortable
absolutely,
with what they're doing.
absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the building. What can fans expect when they come in this year? The first chance they'll get is, and if they didn't come to doors open, I guess, the first chance they'll come to see a hockey game is Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Saturday night, 6 o'clock face-off with Chicago, and tickets are just $10 unless you're a student or a child. College students on down are only $6 to get in for Saturday night. So we encourage people to come and check out what's going on here. I think we're going to have a few concession stands open. Obviously, we're not going to give you the full show.
Right, right.
You know, it's the preseason, so we're saving some of our bells and whistles until October 13th. But just to come in and see hockey again, I think is going to be the most important thing. And we're excited about what we're doing here this year. I think everybody in the organization, to a person, we've grown as a staff.
Right.
You know, we've added some new positions. I think we're ready to take the next step too. And over the summer, winning the Best Fan Experience Award in the league, that to us as a staff is like winning a Calder Cup. So we want to give you a good show. We're good at it. We're not bashful about beating our chest about that a little bit.
Yeah.
But we're going to try and work hard to make sure that that happens every single night here, including Saturday night.
Very good. Let's talk real quick about the schedule, the way it lays out, and specifically some promotions. I know some that haven't been announced, but there's some cool things down the line here.
There are, for sure. And obviously opening night's always a special night, and we're going to have a lot of youth hockey players and their families in the crowd that night. It's a big youth hockey initiative that night to kind of kick off everybedy's season at the same time. In November, we're doing our teddy bear toss very early this year, November the 2nd, with Jockey Being Family Foundation. So that'll be something people can look forward to for that. The next week's going to be our salute to our military on November the 9th. So that's another special night here every year. Dog Day, thanks to Pet Supplies Plus. Dog Day is going to be on November 17th, so that's early this year.
Yeah.
And then we also are doing a special thing this year that we haven't participated in before, which is being part of the Hockey Fights Cancer Initiative, which is going to be coming up on Saturday, November the 24th. And there'll be a lot of details coming out of how we're going to be participating. But as a league, we were able to start being part of that last year at the All-Star Game, and it's something very special. I mean, most hockey fans have seen it someplace along the way. Baseball, you've seen Stand Up to Cancer, those types of things. The Admirals are excited to be able to be part of that as well. So those things are all things coming up early in the season. We will have music concerts to be announced yet. All of those will be coming after the first of the year. But those are
all of the concerts will be.
Coming after the first of the year. And giveaways with the Brewers, who obviously are red hot right now. So we got a lot of really cool stuff yet to be announced. But some very special things going on early.
Very good. Follow the Admirals on social media and obviously MilwaukeeAdmirals.com.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Eric.
Am I missing anything?
Oh, AHL TV. I do want to mention AHL TV. It's a new initiative. Not really necessarily new, but very much improved initiative this season. We've taken a new relationship with Hockey Tech, which is they've been doing thousands and thousands of games every single year on the internet. So every Admirals game will be available on Hockey Tech on AHLTV.com. If you go and check out on our website, you can see the pricing, which is very, very reasonable. You can actually get the whole season and watch every single game of the entire league for less than $100.
Wow.
If you want to do that, if you just want to see Admirals road games, there's a package for that. If you want to just kind of sample it, and I'll tell you the quality that people are going to be able to see on what's on these broadcasts is also going to be tremendously improved, not only here in Milwaukee, but throughout the entire league. So AHL TV is something that I personally am really looking forward to seeing how that all works out.
Very good, John. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Aaron.
President John Greenberg. We'll get back to practice in just a moment.
Still on that camera? Because I see it up on that thing.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, just to show how
Good. How are you?
messed up it is. We're not using this one because it's like skewed.
Sure, see as always.
You as well. Trip over all the technology.
Yeah, I'm really good at busting shit, so this is probably not the best place for it.
What's going on?
Well, it's that time of year, right?
It's that time of
It's
year.
time for some 80-degree days because it never fails. You know those?
Well, we've managed to get most of the humidity out of here. Came in this morning, looked like the Boston Garden did about 1980 in the playoffs. Fog coming up off everything.
Yeah, I bet.
What's that?
I came up the tunnel. It's just nothing.
The sound on that is on?
The glasses, you know.
The sound,
look
just
like
so you
shell,
know.
look like a shell.
Just so you know, the sound is on that camera.
Okay.
Awesome.
So a great organized club.
That's what the internet's for.
That's right. It's subscription only.
That's right. That's right.
It's cartoon.
Plus, they said the one of the ones earlier. Jerry, can you hold this for a second?
Yeah, I believe that's some time to get to know each other. It's not like what time do you think is
Did the camera go off?
This one battery died. It's still on.
What time do you think I should tell Bailey to be here? What time do you think I should tell Bailey to be here on Saturday? 4:30?
Yeah.
You'll have a parking car back here? Not across the street.
You say we're on camera or off to the side? On camera. My mic is on.
Hey. Back at UW Milwaukee Panther Arena, a fresh sheet of ice, and now the Admirals will be working on some special teams here, so everybody's wearing the same color jerseys, and doesn't really help to differentiate who is who out there. But from before, we'll give you the line combinations. One group had Connor Brickley on the left wing with Emil Pettersson at center, and the right wing was Jeremy Gregoire. The yellow jerseys from before, one line was you had Carl Persson, Matt Lane, and Zach Magwood, and then you had all wearing blue jerseys and players rotating in. Yakov Trenin, Tyler Gaudette, Brandon Truk, Darby Llewellyn, and Tyler Moy. And then you also had wearing gray jerseys Anthony Richard, Justin Kirkland, Taylor Janot. You had Alex Overhart, and you had Matthew Olivier. The goaltenders are Troy Grosnick, Miroslav Svoboda, and Tom McCollum. And then the defensive pairings were Jared Chinordi, Alex Carrier. You had Matt Donovan with Frederick Allard, Philip Pyrakta with Jack Doherty, and last but not least, Jack Stander and Jonas Luutinen were the defensive pairings out there earlier in the first half of practice. I expect all those line combinations to be the same. And again, there's 4 extra players other than in the skating rotation. So we'll see how those lines shake out. But we're going to step away. Carl Taylor standing at center ice, the Admirals' new head coach, as the Admirals work on some special teams stuff here in part 2 of the first day of training camp practice at UW Milwaukee Panther Arena. Thanks for watching today on MilwaukeeAdmirals.com. We're going to keep it right here.